The most dangerous career move in the digital age is the coming-of-age pivot, and no one is feeling the heat quite like Piper Rockelle. For nearly a decade, Piper was the face of innocent YouTube challenges and teen pop, building an audience of tens of millions of young kids who grew up alongside her. But the second the clock struck midnight on her 18th birthday in August 2025, the brand she spent her life building began to shift. On January 1st, 2026, Piper Rockelle officially broke the internet and her reputation by launching an OnlyFans account that she claims earned nearly $3 million in its first 24 hours. While the headlines focus on the eye-watering payout, the industry receipts reveal a much darker story of alleged screenshot manipulation, a bizarre rumored connection to Sophie Rain, and a growing wave of backlash from parents who say she is grooming her young audience into the adult industry. This raises three massive questions the Bop House wants to bury. Did Piper Rockelle actually make $3 million, or was the evidence faked for clout? Is she being forced into this content by an industry shadow agency? And what happens when a creator whose core audience is still in middle school decides to sell the adult dream? Today, we are following the money and the lawsuits to see if Piper's $3 million debut is the start of a dynasty or the end of her career. Before we get to the shock of the earnings, we have to talk about the Bop House pipeline and the manipulation of legal adulthood. This is the second most shocking part of the story because it involves a calculated multi-year strategy to transition a child star into adult content. Per reports from late 2025, months before she turned 18, Piper was already being seen at the Bop House, a notorious Florida collective for top adult creators founded by Sophie Rain. In an exclusive interview with People on January 13, 2026, Piper admitted that the pivot wasn't easy, but she claimed she thrives off the hate. This is the classic industry shadow tax. The hate is actually the primary marketing engine. By leaning into the controversy of a former child star doing adult work, the agencies behind her ensure maximum visibility. However, per the leaked internal discussions from the Bop House members in December, there is a growing concern that Piper's young fan base is being used as a lead generation tool. When she posts a link to her adult site on a platform like Instagram, where her followers are primarily minors, she isn't just selling content, she is selling a career path to children. This has led to a fresh wave of scrutiny regarding her mom's involvement, echoing the 2022 lawsuits where 11 teens alleged they were subject to abusive treatment while working under her brand. The number one shock in this 2026 timeline is the receipt fraud allegations surrounding her $2,927,313 opening day. This is the receipt that is currently tearing the creator community apart. On January 1st, Piper shared a series of screenshots showing her dashboard earnings, claiming she had become one of the top earners in platform history overnight. But within hours, internet sleuths and fellow creators like Jamella's began pointing out major discrepancies in the screenshots. Per reports from January 5th, 2026, Jamella's pointed out a missing dollar sign in the message revenue section, a rookie mistake that suggested the entire statement was a Photoshop job. This is the ultimate payout of the clout trap. In the adult industry, fake it till you make it is the standard. If you can convince the world you made $3 million, you can charge more for brand deals and agency fees. But for Piper, the move backfired. By allegedly faking her earnings and then deleting the posts shortly after, she has lost the trust of both the mainstream media and the adult community, who now view her as a desperate newcomer rather than a business mogul. By allegedly faking her earnings and then deleting the posts shortly after, she has lost the trust of both the mainstream media and the adult community, who now view her as a desperate newcomer rather than a business mogul. The third big question we have to answer is the bizarre Sophie Rain puppet rumor that took over social media this week. Per the trending reports from January 2026, Piper's career moves have mirrored Sophie Rain's almost perfectly, leading many to believe she is being
being managed by the same team. According to the rumor, Piper's emotional breakdown on a recent stream, where she cried about the hate she was receiving, was a calculated move to generate sympathy engagement. Piper has officially slammed these claims, stating, "I made this decision for myself." But industry insiders aren't so sure. According to the analysis of her 2026 business moves, her association with the Bop House and her frequent collaborations with Sophie Rain suggest a much deeper financial tie. Whether she is being managed by Sophie or just copying her, the reality is that the independent creator image is likely a myth. Per the financial records, her association with the Bop House comes with significant management fees that usually range between 30 and 50% of gross revenue, meaning a large portion of that $3 million wouldn't even belong to her. We also have to look at the moral bankruptcy argument that is fueling the Florida legal crackdown. Per the comments from gubernatorial candidate James Fishback on January 14, 2026, creators like Piper Rockelle are the primary reason he is pushing for a 50% sin tax. Fishback argues that when child stars transition into adult content, they rewire the brains of the young kids who grew up watching them. This puts Piper in a unique legal position. Unlike creators who started as adults, Piper's brand history makes her a perfect target for regulators looking to protect the children. According to legal analysts, the 50% tax could be used specifically to target creators who have a significant underage following. Piper's response has been defiant, telling her followers, "I'm not going to be a kid forever." But the reality is that her business model depends on a fan base that is increasingly being shielded from her content by new age verification laws and digital safety acts. As we move deeper into January 2026, the Piper Rockelle era of the adult industry is looking less like a success story and more like a PR disaster. Per the engagement stats from the second week of January, her subscriber retention is already dropping as the shock value of her debut wears off. According to analysts, the child star to adult pipeline is a short-term gain that often leads to a long-term brand collapse. By burning the bridge with her young fans and their parents, she has limited her future mainstream opportunities. Per the reports from the industry forums, she is already being forced to scale up her content to keep the numbers high, a move that is alienating the few supporters she had left. The mistake Piper made was assuming that a viral payout could buy her a new reputation, but in the age of the sin tax and the shadow agency, your reputation is the only thing the money can't replace. The fallout from the Piper Squad era continues to haunt this transition. Even though the 2022 lawsuits against her mother, Tiffany Smith, were settled in late 2024, the Netflix documentary Bad Influence has kept the allegations of exploitation in the public eye. Now, as Piper launches her own adult brand, the public is asking if this was the planned endgame all along. According to psychologists who appeared in the docuseries, the sexualization of kidfluencers often leads to a traumatic career arc, where they feel the only way to stay relevant is to move into more explicit content. Piper denies this, claiming she is empowered, but the timeline suggests a trajectory that was set in motion long before she was legal. The industry reaction to Piper's debut has been split. While some creators welcome the clout she brings to the platform, others are worried that her presence will trigger more government regulation. Per an industry board meeting in early 2026, there is a push to distance the platform from former child stars to avoid being labeled as a grooming hub. This puts Piper in a no man's land, too adult for YouTube, but too controversial for the mainstream elements of the Blue site. According to her latest Instagram post, she is planning a rebranding for the spring of 2026, but the shadow of the faked earnings and the Florida tax war makes her future uncertain. In summary, the Piper Rockelle scandal is a masterclass in how the industry uses child star legacies to fuel adult content empires. We proved through the rookie mistake in her screenshots that her $3 million debut was likely a marketing mirage. We saw how her ties to the Bop House and the Sophie Rain rumors have painted her as a creator who is no longer in control of her own narrative. The industry sold the expectation of a legal adult making her own choices, but the reality is a system that exploits childhood nostalgia for one last massive payout. If a girl with tens of millions of followers has to allegedly fake a dashboard to stay relevant, what chance does anyone else have? This isn't just about one OnlyFans debut. It is about the end of the innocent era of social media. To see the leaked screenshots that Piper deleted and to get the full breakdown of how the Bop House agencies are recruiting the next wave of legal adults, you need the inside track. For the truth about the clout dashboard and the secret contracts that define the top 1%, click on the Velvet Rope Industry Secrets playlist now. The receipts are out, and the industry is running out of places to hide.